1, full course yellow is deployed. Full course yellow is deployed.
Yeah, g'day. Welcome to coming to you live from, at least I'm coming to you live from Gundagai. They're on the way up to Bathurst for the Bathurst 12 hours. Really sort of doing this just to see if it was possible on the iPad. And I don't know, you can perhaps tell us if it is. Certainly, I don't know whether you can see me. I know that I can see Richard Outram. I also know that I can see Mark Jones, who has his mic. There he goes. His mic is not muted anymore. And there's 7 people watching. So I suppose it's sort of working. By the way, guys, I'm certainly not the only person making the stop off at Gundagai on the trek up to Mount Panorama, because in the main street of Gundagai and causing quite the commotion is a brand new, very nice burgundy Corvette, just sitting there, and everybody's stopping. I think half the town have turned out to actually see the thing, and it's impressing everybody except for 2 very old Italian women. I couldn't really understand entirely what they were saying, but I understood the word Ferrari, and I did gather that they were not impressed with the American version.
Well, I suppose it does have that style look to it these days. The C7, I've forgotten, Corvette. 7th generation Corvette.
I get them mixed up, but it certainly was very popular. People were just literally in the main street for what it is. It was stopping traffic in peak hour in Gundagai. I mean, all 3 cars stopped to have a look at it.
Yeah. And the dog who'd knocked off from the tucker box for the evening.
Yes. The tucker box. I went to see the dog on the tucker box. I remember back in the old days, when I was a kid, it was the sort of thing that anybody who went on the road trip up to Sydney from Melbourne, you knew that when they came back, the 2 souvenirs they were going to bring you was something to do with the Sydney Harbour Bridge and a money box with the dog on the tucker box. I certainly had one when I was about 5 or 6 or something, but yeah, it's I don't know, because I haven't been past that, because I think it's all out of the road now because of the freeway, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably find out tomorrow, because as we say, it is 5 miles from Gundagai, and I'm actually in Gundagai. But I've been totally out of the loop. Obviously, I've been trying to get up here and hope that both me and the car survive, and we've got this far, so touch wood. We'll get the rest of the way tomorrow, and then I've got 5 wonderful nights camping on the top of Mount Panorama, which I'm looking forward to no end. It's because I love camping. It's a wonderful pastime, and I really do enjoy it.
Oh, I remember.
Am I sounding sincere?
It's very sincere, I believe you.
Oh, I remember one year at the, I think it was the 1000, during the split, it was the V8 race during either 97 or 98. I want to say it's whichever one it was. I remember that I had 2 pairs of jeans, and it rained on the first 2 days up there. And so I couldn't get them dry. So I basically spent the week in wet jeans. It was, it's a positive memory I have of that place.
Yes, I've got the forecast is basically to be pretty good. There's showers expected, but I mean there's a chance of slight showers, except for Thursday, when they are predicting possible, but only possible, severe thunderstorms in the afternoon. So it'll be interesting if they roll in, because if you've been up at Mount Panorama during one of their summer thunderstorms, they do summer thunderstorms really well. I mean, they could bat for Australia in terms of summer thunderstorms.
I remember the storm that came across the racetrack during the 2002 24-hour race. That was so heavy. There was zero visibility, and they had to shut the race down for around an hour or so. That was that was not long after the race started, so I want to say about mid-morning or so. But yeah, during the daylight hours. I'm now not remembering when the old 24 hours started.
Yeah, it was such a long time ago now. I only ever went to the one
Oh.
24 hours. It really was the catalyst for getting me to Le Mans. It was just such an amazing experience. But I know that we were driving out. There was myself, Tony Alloy, one from well-known official in South Australia. Tony, if you happen to be watching at some stage, he was along for the ride with the crew. And we had, I think Shane, the professional Canadian, was along as well. And we stopped. We just had to stop at one stage because I couldn't see like literally that far in front of the car. And we found somewhere where I thought was moderately safe to pull on. We pulled up there and could not see a thing. And as slowly but surely as the rain got lesser and less, I think it was Shane in the back looked over and went, "Oh my God. Have you looked? Don't look over this side." And of course, we looked over this side, and we're literally that far from a sheer drop of about 200 feet. Yeah, so wasn't keen about that, but the 24 hour that was so good. It was the catalyst to say, look, I've really got to get to Le Mans at some stage, because if that's how good this is, imagine how good Le Mans would be, and that's where all that started. So it was a terrific event. I don't know. What do you think about the timing of the Bathurst 12 hours? Starting at sort of 5:45 in the morning. You really only get a couple of laps of darkness, and it's an amazing. So I mean, it's really the main reason I'm going is, and the main reason I'm camping there is to be there at that start and to see that that incredible sight. There's not a better sight in all motor racing. I defy anybody to come up with one. And it's incredible, and I mean, like, to be honest with you, if I'm really suffering, it could be sort of I do what I did about 10 years ago now. The only other time I camped in a tent there, I basically got to about 10 o'clock and said, right, I've seen the start. It was wonderful. I've got some fabulous photos and some great video. I'm packing up and going home. And I eventually watched the last hour of the race from a hotel room in Albury.
I've not been fortunate enough to get to the 12 hour yet. I mean, I've done several 1000s and the 24 hour as well. It's bucket list stuff for me personally to get along to the 12. Yeah, you say about the race starting at 5:45 a.m. They're with the sunrise at around 6, I guess. So we do get that sort of.
Yeah, it's very quick. You basically get about 1.5 laps in darkness, or in sort of semi-darkness, but you get but it's just amazing. I mean, because when you're up the top of the mountain, you see that sort of, you suddenly see that band of gold coming up over the town, and for about sort of 20 minutes or so, you've got just this incredible gold colour in the, and just as you can't take a bad photo. It's amazing. It is, of course, also the most dangerous time, because that's the time when Skippy is around and talking to some of the locals, both on the way here, stopping off, and somebody tonight over at the sports club at Gundagai, apparently, and I quote, "Oh, geez, they're bad this year, mate. They are bloody everywhere."
Well, they did make the announcement of a new commentary team for the 12 hour this weekend, and I'm pretty sure that there were 2 kangaroos joining them in the commentary box over the course of the weekend. I'm not quite sure what they're going to say, because they're not known for their vocalizations.
Yes. Yes, they are. The other thing is they're not particularly. Yes, that's it. It's looking a bit loose in the rear end. an extra wind on the roll bar. You say, Skip. Richard, what do you? Because you talk about wet weather at Bathurst. I mean, have you run in really bad?
Yes, I have. I was sitting on the dummy grid, and this storm came through. It was horrendous. And I was so disappointed, because normally I'd be undercover watching the lightning because I'm a real buff for lightning. I love it. But here it was there's so much water pouring onto the car sitting in the dummy grid that you couldn't see out the window. Anyway, at least a third of the cars just packed up, drove out of the dummy grid back to their garages. And some muggins actually went out and thrashed around it. And I'm telling you, down at the Kink before the Chase, there's literally a river running across it at the apex. So just went straight through it. Must admit, the times were a fair bit slower. It's quite something doing the going across the top with absolute pour. Well, it had just stopped pouring rain. Virtually as they let us out, it stopped raining. But the water was inch or two thick in some places. But fun. Ooh. Luckily, I had some tread left on the tyres, unlike some of my tyres were just super buffed. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm bringing up hello to everybody who's on the stream at the moment. I can't read anything because the screen is like that big. And
C8 Corvette is the new
C8.
one.
Thank you, John.
The C8. So Also, this has probably been the controversy that I can bring up. The things I got there is 7 should be showing the start, the end on free to air. That's because that is the big change this year in terms of the coverage. We don't have any on free to air. The 7 coverage has been dropped. Now the interesting thing is that KO are using this as a leverage to try and get more people onto the KO service, and they got a $5 Bathurst 12-hour special. You get the first month, might even be the first 2 months for $5, which means you can get the Bathurst 12-hour, the opening round of the supercars, Formula One testing, all for $5. Unfortunately, at the end of the $5, you do pay the new improved rate, which is almost $50.
Yeah, even I might be bailing on that soon.
Yeah, I looked at that and I said, as much as I would, I can't justify. I really can't justify it. I know one more people, it's only a cup of coffee every, and it's only this and all the rest of it. No, it's $50.
It was a month.
That's it's a lot. That's basically the $50 a month. Is a big slab out of when you're on a low income, when you're on a pension or anything like that.
Hey, that's more than the MA license. I mean, and that's exorbitant.
Yeah. So Paul saying time to renew KO. I mean, this is the problem. I mean, if you want to watch any sort of motorsport and pretty much any other sort of sport, you've really got to you've really got to have KO, because otherwise you're not going to see it. But the problem is, at one stage, of course, everything was on KO and Foxtel. Now, for instance, right now, as I was watching before, the T20 World Cup is currently on, and it's not on KO. It's on Amazon Prime. Which virtually which a lot of people have. They just don't know they've got it. I mean, if you're a Prime member, if you get lots of stuff sent to you via Amazon and you shell out the extra dollars to get the free overnight delivery and all the rest, as part of the deal, you get Prime. You get Amazon Prime Video as part of the deal. And it's just, I know a lot of people who've got Prime and they just don't watch it because outside of the occasional sporting, there's not a huge amount on. There are some good shows. The Boys is a very good show. Paul saying, Jane Atkins, how are you? Saying that, where are we? We'll bring that up. Saying that Bathurst, an interesting place to drive a fully loaded medical car with three other people in it. Yes, it.
Any time you can drive around Bathurst at speed is a great day.
Yeah, $50 KO's $1.50 a day for the motorsport. Yeah, the thing is, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching motorsport every day. I'm not watching KO every day. I watch it I don't even watch everything on the weekend live because you don't have time. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if I was, obviously, I mean, I'm not watching anything this weekend apart from Bathurst because I'm up here. Even if I was down in Melbourne on Friday, I'd be out at Calder Park, which I'm really annoyed at. That's another thing I'm kicking myself that they've probably got the biggest Fast Friday that they've had. They've got a deal going with I think it's a motorcycle custom motorcycle shop, and they've got a huge field turned out, both cars and bikes. It's going to be one of the biggest fields they've ever had. They're really putting on a big show on Friday, and unfortunately, instead of being up there and commentating on it, I'm up here, and also sort of, so I'm a bit pissed off with with that. But by the time that it was the date was announced, it was too late. I'd obviously made all the commitments and all the bookings, and really. Because I've missed out on too many of these things as a result. Because if you remember the last couple of times that I booked in advance and to camp up on the mountain, I mean the first time I had the whole disaster with the body corporate and the house and all the rest of it, which stuffed things up major. And then the next year I thought, right, we're okay, and I fell over and broke my shoulder. So there was no camping happening there. So that's 2 times I paid for it bloody owes me. 2 times I paid for bloody camping up there, and 2 times I haven't had the opportunity to go up and use it. So I thought, no, this year I'm come hell or high water. I'm going up there, even if it kills me and even if it kills the car. But I'm looking forward to it. But boy, it's been stressful.
Oh well, think of what just imagine for yourself right now that sunrise on Sunday morning.
That makes it all right. Get to that. Yeah, that makes it all worth it because it is the most extraordinary thing, and it's a great feel. By the way, because I've been so totally out of the loop, but even with you guys, Mark, what do we? Is there anything come up in the last sort of 24 hours or so in terms of news that we need to chat about?
Oh, well, the entry list was finalised. Some of the teams left it quite late to announce all of their drivers. Of course, I can't pick out, I've got the entry list in front of me right now, but I can't pick out which ones. It doesn't say which ones were finalised late in the day, but there's some fantastic. It was mostly the Australian cars in the the bronze and silver classes that were late in announcing their lineups. But yeah, looking at that, there's some fascinating names there. I'm not sure I saw that there's names like Lorenzo Petresi, for example, in the entry list. I'm not sure we knew that one earlier. Son of Ricardo, who's joining one of the Ferraris. He's driving in one of the Arise Ferraris, which is sort of a cooperative effort with Zigo Sport Tempesto, who runs with AF Corsa in the European Le Mans series. But yeah, they're looking at the list here. The names just gorgeous. I could read off 50 odd names of some of the top GT racers in the world, and that
and that's the reason for I mean it really is. If you're going to go to one race, if you're going to go to one race and say, look, I really the Grand Prix is obviously a big deal, but it's very, very hard to get tickets. It's very, very expensive. I mean, even with as much money as I've spent to get up here and all the rest of it, it's still I've got basically 5 nights of accommodation for what it's worth. Fold your own, create your own adventure accommodation, and it's like 3 days of amazing on-track action with some of the best cars in the world, driven by some of the best drivers in the world. and and a lot of enthusiastic amateurs as well, and just great atmosphere. It's a terrific race. But whether as I said, it's one of those things that you've got to start asking yourself, like at my age and all the rest of it is like can I keep doing this? Sort of yeah, I can, but not camping. I think this is going to be. I just want to prove to myself that I can do it, or I can't do it. And if I can't do it, I can't do it. I get rid of everything, and I say, okay, that's it. It's not going to happen again. If it comes off that I actually really enjoy it, and it comes together a lot better than I thought, I might sort of go, yeah, but. Yeah, I hate today has been a nightmare. I really just hate driving long distances.
I'd be there beside you if we were starting from the same city. Unfortunately, I'm back in time here. An hour in the past, and in the complete wrong direction to head to Bathurst from yourself.
Yeah, well, what would it take you? I mean, because like with breaking it up, I mean, you'd get to take at least 3 days, wouldn't it?
Oh no, I remember one year I did the trip down in. I'm suddenly realising that perhaps I shouldn't mention the number out loud. I mean, it's quite
statute of limitations is statute of limitations is over.
I have done the trip from Brisbane in 10 hours to Bathurst.
Well, see, that's not there because I mean, what is it? It's 9 hours from Melbourne.
Yeah. It's 10 to 11 for me.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a trailer, of course.
I was in a bit of a hurry in that particular instance because I remember I'd left my media details at home, and I needed to get ahead of the media shop being open so I could get in touch with my boss for the weekend, and just getting everything done at the end of time. I think in the end I had to change my name to Phil Brannigan for that particular race to get that. Apologies, Phil. I know you're probably not watching, but anyway, it's comfortably done in like one particular year. I was actually down with appendicitis during my trip.
Oh, I actually remember that. I remember.
Yeah, that was 97, and I remember the staying in Dubbo overnight on the way down, and feeling absolutely wretched. But I thought, it's a long way home from here, much like yourself now, Brett.
Yeah.
Long way home from Dubbo, whereas it's the racetrack's only an hour down the road from here. So I got up in the morning, and the moment I saw Mount Panorama in the white rocks on the side of the hill, I was fine.
That's it, isn't it? You come around over the hill, and then you suddenly get your first sighting of it, and you go, there it is.
And I was fine for the drive home too. And the moment I saw my surgeon on the Wednesday after getting home, it was, under the knife. You're crooker than we thought.
Okay. So imagine that it's the adrenaline of Bathurst.
It's just a beautiful place to be.
Well, it's interesting. I've said this before. I mean, because and it always made me interested. It was quite a few years ago. We interviewed Jules Gunon at this event, and it was funny. I think it was his. He'd been here a couple of times already, and we were saying about like what he thought of the place, and he said the first time he said there's something about it. He said, I've raced at all the great circuits. This is obviously one of the great circuits, and the Spa is amazing, and Nürburgring is incredible, and Le Mans is just he said, but there is something in magic. The spirit of the place. He said, it's the spirit of the place. And I always thought that was really interesting that they were the words he chose because when you talk to any sort of the Indigenous Australians about anything about their connection with the land and about special places, that's the phrase they always use. It is the spirit of the place. And the fact that sort of this, like overseas driver who's got there has come and he sort of felt it. I mean, he said, there was just something, there is something very special, about this venue. But speaking of, but anyway, look, I'm running out of battery very quickly. That's one of the downsides. What I was going to say is, now that we sort of know that we can do this, we might pop up and do some stuff. Docky's coming up, and the reason Doc's not here is Doc is, hopefully he's either packing his car or he's fast asleep because he's coming up a day early, so he's leaving at the ridiculous time of about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Good time
with
to leave.
Acclimatising to the race start.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, he does have to because he basically starts work at about 5 o'clock every morning anyway. So he's sort of used to that, but he's going to do it all in one fell swoop. So yeah, I mean that's going to be a long drive, but I'm glad that I did break it up. According to but the Apple Maps, or not the Apple Maps, the Google Maps, the times that it gave me, and I also got AI to help out. I sort of said, here's the route. I've got a really bad back and bad knees and all the rest of it, and I really want to minimise the drive. And it sort of gave me this very good schedule. And it said, oh yes, just go from here to here. That's about an hour's drive, and then here to here and stop off for 20 minutes. That's another hour's drive. No, it wasn't an hour's drive. It also didn't factor into take into account the fact that it took, this morning at 9 o'clock when I left it took me over an hour just to get to bloody Toorak Road.
Yeah, I know that. You know what I call the Google Maps? The Birkin wheels.
Yeah,
if you
so
follow it, you're more likely to die.
It really didn't help that much at all. But according to Google Maps, I've got about sort of 3 hours of travelling. I think it's about 3 hours and 20 minutes of travelling tomorrow in total. So I've just got to get there before the accreditation, the credentials office closes, because I've been told, because I sort of contacted them and said, look, I'm camping on the Wednesday night. If I get there late, I won't have my media pass and my ticket to get in because because I can't pick that up. But I'll just grab it the next day. And they went, no, you won't. No, if you come and you don't have that pass on, you're not getting in. You're finding a hotel, or you're turning around and going home. So it's I've got to be there tomorrow at before 5 o'clock. So I've got plenty of time to do that, providing, of course, touch wood once again, that the both me and the car get there, because it was tough today. Not feeling all that bright at the moment, so we'll see how we go. Because of course, once I get there, I have to build my accommodation, and that's going to take. And someone said, "Oh, it's an instant up tent." Oh, they're easy. They go up in 5 minutes. They might go up in 5 minutes, but you then have to put in about 20 pegs into the rock hard ground at Mount Panorama.
Well, if there's been any rain, then that should help with the rock hardness.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Apparently, it did rain very, very heavy on Sunday, and they were worried. They said, "Oh, and everyone said, well, at least it'll be easy to get the tent pegs in." So that's
take
probably
any
one thing,
victory that you can.
But with me, I mean, it's going to be a case of I've got the walking the walking frame thing, and I've got the cushions, and sort of get down on one knee, put in one peg, get up, walk around, recover for about 20 minutes, go back, put in another one, so by the time I've done that 20 times, it ain't going up in 5 minutes. It's probably, I think I did it in the backyard to see if it was doable, and I think it took me about 3 hours.
Is Doc coming with you? Is
Hey?
Doc going to be up there?
Yeah. Well, he's going to be up. That's another reason for possibly leaving early. Is that if Doc is up there, he might be able. He could give me a hand to sort of pack it all away, because unpacking. This is the problem. I packed everything away, and everyone said, "Oh, gee, I've so much into that little car." Packing it away is one thing, and unpacking it, putting it back together again and getting it to fit in bags and all that, especially when it's wet or it's cold or it's windy or it's, like it's covered in dust and mud and all the rest of it, and, you're not feeling all that bright. And that's why I lost bits of it. I actually had to go out and buy some new tent poles for the bloody thing, because the old ones I think I left at Bathurst 10 years ago. I thought, I'll never do this again. And just threw it all in the back and just took off. And I think I left a shitload of stuff behind. But anyway, so we got any other news? Any of them? But we might pull the plug on this then. And
I guess other things to note. There's 2 support categories that are running on the weekend. Both of them will get one race on television on Saturday.
The support races, incidentally, will be free. No, not free to wear, but they will be on YouTube. The support races for Saturday are going
good.
And I think Friday practice as well for the GT cars for the 12-hour as well. I think pretty much
GT
all.
World.
Yeah, on GT World, and also I think the Bathurst 12-hour have got their own channel as well. So once again, it's the A team in terms of, we'll talk about commentators. We've got Richard Crail, John Hindhoff, Garth Tander, who the man who would be king. He's joining them as well, and Chad Nayland in the pits along with Shay Adam. And I'm really glad to see Shay.
Back.
Yeah, Shay's back, because Shay has sort of taken a lower profile. She's been doing some work with the MX5 series in America. So she hasn't been
in the MX5 program between round 1 at Daytona and round 2 at Sebring. So there is that time for her to get out and about and do stuff, I suppose.
And I know she absolutely adores the place as well. She just loves it. So I think if there was any excuse or any possibility of her getting out here, and obviously they like what she does, because she does a really great job, and I think that they were quite keen to have her back. So Shay will be here as well. And as I said, we'll add what we can. At this stage, we don't know what the restrictions are in terms of what we can and can't film. It sort of changes on a regular basis. Certainly last year, the deal was you're not to shoot anything at all on the track, which is a bit of a pain. If they release, this is the problem. You can use, like, under fair dealing, under Australian copyright laws and under international copyright laws, you've got a thing called fair dealing or fair use.
Fair use.
Which you can. Where you can use stuff from as long as it's like marked as coming where it's coming from, as long as we acknowledge that it's not your footage, you can use certain amounts of footage in a news or a review format, but YouTube doesn't care about that. YouTube's attitude is no. If you don't own it, you don't put it on YouTube, and if you don't like it, take us to court. So.
I guess there's been too many instances of people taking them to court, and in times past, and they've just sort of thrown their hands in the air and said, "Look, okay, we'll just."
Well, it was the Rupert Murdoch. It was the Rupert Murdoch scenario. Rupert Murdoch, for just everything that came up on any of his media at all, it just went straight to court, and in the end, YouTube just went. And they won most of the. This is a funny thing. I mean, YouTube actually used fair use as a defence and said, and won. But they said we can't just keep going back and doing it. We're going to have to do it with every single studio in America, and then probably Europe and all the rest. So in the end, they just said, okay, it's not a legal thing; it's a condition of use on a YouTube channel, and you can't use that footage. Sometimes people get away with it. It's amazing. I mean, we used to do stuff on there, and like it would be taken down like that. And there are other people who have got Formula One testing news. And they're running all this footage direct from Formula One, and they never get. We'd run like 20 seconds of 20 seconds of something, an incident in Friday practice or something, and it was like, you have been flagged for copyright. Your video has been taken down. Please edit your video to remove the following clips. Pain in the ass.
But yeah, there's 2 support categories as I started with the Ferrari Challenge, which is which is the grid's actually grown considerably since the opening season last year. There's it's maybe as much as 40 to 50% larger than last year's field, so that's fantastic.
And it was
to see.
It was a good for its first round last year. It was a very good field, so that's impressive.
Well, some of the races later weren't as well supported in last year's championship, but yeah, it's sort of they're up in the I've actually forgotten how many there are in the list, but I thought by looking at it there was more. And combined sedans, which is now combined sedans and sports cars. We've got some of the classic GT3s and some Porsche Cup cars added into the combined sedan, so it's now even more combined.
And they're letting
there's some
them
fascinating
this year too, as they've dropped the fastest lap time by a couple of seconds, so they can.
Yeah, so some of our marked cars and our top sports sedans, and there's some very quick cars in the space frame class, which I guess is sports sedans and marked cars. Or I say marked cars, they're IRCs now. Like Jeff Taunton and Stephen Lacey and Michael Rowell with their cars. There's plus you've got Brad Shields in that famous Fiat, Mark Duggan in the Aston Martin. Anthony Cox from Queensland has got his Dodge NASCAR powered Saab 9.3 down there for the running. Keith Kasulki's back in his Mark II Mustang. Paul Boschert has brought his Corvette across. Then you've got, and then on top of that, there's the sports cars that are joining the field, like Tim Pritchard's running a. In fact, there's a couple of. I think there's around 3 or 4 Lamborghini Gallardo GT3s, including a friend of the program, Jordan Roddy's racing a Rita Extenso, which was the last of the Gallardo GT3s and the most potent of them.
Yeah, I think that's what he ran last year, and I didn't catch up, so I've got to catch up with Geordie this time around, because I didn't know. I was standing up on the top of the mountain watching them go around, and then I suddenly heard the commentator saying, there's Jordan Roddy in the Lamborghini. I went, I didn't know he was here. So I didn't catch by the time, because they were very quick. Basically, they're far more sensible than I am. They're not, they're there for their own race. And basically on Saturday afternoon, they went off, they had their bit of a dinner and all that, and by Sunday, most of them were gone. So I went down and checked, checked where Jordan's car was. Jordan's car was there, but there was no sign of Geordie. So I just so I didn't catch up with him, but I will. I'll catch up. The other reason I'm going, I'm really looking forward to this, is I'll be there this year for the first time for the Track to Town.
Oh yes,
and that looks, that's one of the. That was one of the attractions, because basically, like when you book the camping, you book for 5 nights whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter how many nights you stay. You book from Wednesday to Monday morning, and it's like, well, I've paid for the extra night. It gives me more time to get up there. I can get set up, and then on Thursday I've got a day to myself, sort of thing, to do the Track to Town and do a bit of tourism stuff that I want to do, and also get the supplies that I need to hopefully survive this thing. I didn't do the cooking. I'm not doing the cooking thing. I was very tempted to do the cooking thing, because that's very popular on YouTube. Actually, the going there, man in the bush with dog, in rainstorm, cooks, chicken chow mein or something, and it's like, and it gets like millions and millions of. It's either old man with a dog or beautiful young Asian girl in a white T-shirt in the middle of a rainstorm. Both of them are equally popular, although probably for very different reasons.
Oh God, you've reminded me that there was this guy who lived in the Ukrainian tundra years ago who had his cooking channel where he'd just walk out into the snow and open up his outside freezer, which was just a box or whatever, and then throw everything into a barrel and cook it. That was quite popular.
There is one Almazan Kitchen, which is very very good. It's a guy in a Croatian forest, and
Ah,
that's very good, massively popular, and very relaxing. It was he shoots it very well. He's got the very good equipment. It's all shot in 4K, and it just looks magic. And it's if you want to sort of de stress at any stage, you can have a look at that, and you sit there and go. Ah, and it's the same sort of thing. It's like he just goes out and with a piece of steak. I need he doesn't talk about it, but he just goes out and grabs some garlic out of the forest and grabs some wild herbs and grabs this and that and goes and gets the water out of the local the melting glaciers or whatever. It's a very very nice, very relaxing to watch.
certainly not as relaxing. I just want to jump in and point something out from the weekend just gone. Congrats to young Aussie racer Griffin Peebles, who had his first race victory in LMP2 cars at the Asia Le Mans Series. Won the second race at Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit, the Formula One race at, and that was quite the sensational. In fact, we were treated for watching Griffin Peebles and the other Australian in the series, James Allen, battling for the lead mid-race on the Sunday race, and it was brought quite the smile to my face to see these two Aussies going at it for the win in classes as big and as powerful as LMP2.
And
It was,
Griffin he's getting a lot of attention. The one that really gets me is I really can't understand when they talk about sort of all the new hypercars coming up and all the new teams. That James Allen's name is never sort of mentioned, because when you have a look at he's won at Daytona, he's won at Le Mans, he's won all sorts of things. He's always very competitive. Every time he gets behind the wheel, it's like James Allen is sitting fastest lap after fastest lap and all that. And yet when it comes to like a regular drive, he just doesn't. His name just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah, he pops up in co-driver spots for the longer races in IMSA and most, but not every year. He's got a ride in ELMS, but never at that next level up, and that's a tremendous shame. We'd love to see a fantastic prototype sports car racer like himself make that next step, and Peebles now too, joining Matt Campbell as Aussies striding the top level of sports car racing.
Yeah, speaking of the top level, also on the Sunday as well, there was a considerable delay at the race after a horrendous looking crash with Mikael Jensen and
Mimo Gidley of all people.
Mimo Gidley. It was pretty. It made it was so spectacular in inverted commas. It made mainstream media everywhere, because I'm just like a miracle escape to. It's once again, it's not a miracle. It's a testimony to the skill of the engineers that have built these cars. But it was very very spectacular, and they did a lot of damage to totally destroyed the cars and totally destroyed the fencing as well. But so there was a really long delay. So I didn't see the end of the race, because obviously I was trying to get some sleep in my bed before I sort of tackle the.
But they lost over an hour, and one of the results of that, because losing over an hour, and they didn't restart, they didn't pause the clock, so that then meant they couldn't make, like, losing an hour out of over an hour out of a 4-hour race means you fall short of the 75% cutoff for full points. So that then made half points, and that decided all three championships. All three championships, the LMP2, LMP3, and GT, were heading for a fascinating finale, but with half points on offer, that they no longer was able to score enough points, the second place car, to overhaul the championship leader. That was. But yeah, I say, when I said before, Mimo Gidley of all people, Mimo was involved in a enormous shunt at the Daytona 24-hour over a decade ago now, and there was a Ferrari involved in that shunt as well. I think it was Mimo struck the Ferrari instead of being in the Ferrari this time. But it put Mimo out for maybe as much as a year, recovering from that one. But this time, Mimo just climbed out of the ruins of the Ferrari 296 and walked straight over to the officials. Mikkel Jensen needed a little bit of assistance, but he walked over to the ambulance. So there's no serious harm done to him either, even though the Orica 07 was aggressively disassembled along the straight there. Yeah, it was a big shunt, but yeah, they build those Oricas and those Ferraris. In fact, I've forgotten who it is. The Ferrari 296 GT3 is built by a specialist race car company, and
Orica do the.
They built both cars, did they?
Yeah, they built both cars. So really nowadays, all pretty much it's either Dallara, Orica, or Tata. So they're sort of. So this is the problem in terms of they say, you don't see any it's all one make series. It's because the technology is so advanced now with carbon fibre and all the testing and everything they have to do. One-offs are just a thing of the past. There's a few sort of LMP3 cars, and there are other LMP2 chassis, like like Ligier and all the rest that you can actually run, but they're not as competitive. And so Duquesne and all the rest, they do run them occasionally, but they're just not as successful. But anyway, listen, we better sort of take off now because I'm starting to really flag. I'm really starting to fail very badly now. So I will. I'll see you guys. As I said, hopefully, some stuff will probably pop up on the Facebook page, just to let people know that I didn't die overnight or something. And providing I don't die overnight, if I do die overnight, that's been very nice. Thank you very much for watching. But anyway, we'll just sort of catch up on the weekend. As I said, Doc will be joining me sometime on Thursday, and then we'll do some stuff from Bathurst, depending on, as I said, what we're allowed to shoot and what we're not allowed to shoot. And probably we might do what I did last year, which is just do an end of the day wrap up from somewhere sort of outside the circuit or from the top of the mountain or somewhere where we can legally live stream and just let you know sort of what went on behind the scenes and sort of who did what, so you can on your way home from work you can basically get an idea of what's happening. Now, Richard, you're racing this weekend, are you not?
I am. BMRC.
At Sandown?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's kicking off already.
Yeah, putting the old girl back on the track.
And
the old guy, too. Well, I thought there was going to be a very small field, but now we've got over 30 cars entered, which is
fantastic.
Which is great.
The first round is always one to go because everybody's hope springs eternal. It's like no, this year we're going to get stuck in and sort of and then you sort of get to round 2, round 3 and go, I had a really bad come. I'll put the car away. I'll rebuild the car and I'll leave it to Island Magic or something. But the opening round of the year, so it's funny. The best rounds are the opening round or Island Magic. They're the ones you're going to get the biggest. Sportsman's got a really big field as well. That will be televised on Blendline TV as well, as it usually is. So if you're not in Melbourne and you don't want to go out, but look, to do yourself, go out to if you're not going to watch the 12-hour on, because it's on KO. Watch it on watch the VMRC on, or not the VMRC anymore, the Victorian State Race Series. Watch it on Blendline TV, or preferably go out to the track and go up and say hello to Richard. Go up and annoy him, and say, I've seen you on the YouTube channel.
Blue car, yeah. Let's hope they'll be looking further up the grid this time than normally. But I'm not so. The amount of money people are throwing at their cars, I don't think it's going to be I don't think I'm going to be right up the front. I don't think.
Oh, we'll see if we can get another one of those thunderstorms you were mentioning
Yeah.
before to roll across during the dummy grid.
Oh, there's some pretty cool guys out there now. Mind you, there's a lot of names I've never heard. There's a few guys up the front, Carpenter and Harvey and a few others. Yeah, I know them, but there's a lot of the field. I haven't heard of them, and they've probably not heard of me either.
Oh, I'm sure they know who you are, Richard, from watching.
From watching Full Course Yellow. Yeah.
Of course. I'm
From in Pit Lane.
Listen, guys, thanks for doing
night.
that. Like I said, this was really just a test to see if it could work. And it obviously seems to work. So anyway, we'll see you. Whether we see you next week, I don't know, because hopefully I will be back at home sometime very late on Tuesday, and the first thing I'll probably do is I probably won't even unpack the car. I will open the door, I will walk into my bedroom, I will fall into my bed, and I will sleep for days. Okay, we will see you there. Have a good weekend, whatever you're doing, whether it's out at colder on Friday night. Remember, that's going to be absolutely massive, huge turnout there. Sandown Victorian Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship. Anything local up your way, Mark?
Not as yet. The Morgan Park kickoff is actually not that far away, but I've not got it set in my mind. Some of the I have noticed some of the the Morgan Park series is starting to push their events for this year coming on. Actually, that does remind me. I'll just butt in with this a little bit. I noticed that Scott Pye in his social media was jumping up saying, "Hey, it's 2 weeks to Supercar Championship kicking off, and no one's doing any promotion for it yet. So, just in case that nobody else does it, here's the calendar for season 2026 for Supercars." And so,
it's funny today. I don't know. It was what was it on the ABC? Because I was. The times it was all it was I had to listen to at times because the only thing you could pick up. And on their all they talked about was a legendary American rock band, Guns N' Roses, will be playing at the Adelaide Grand Final this year. That's all they said. It's not the Supercar Grand Final. So we're playing at the Adelaide Grand Final. What? Oh, what the SANFL? Oh, that's what a two.
Could at least name what sport it is.
What a sport it is, or like that. But that's all because I heard it about 3 times during the course of the day. Yeah, so Guns N' Roses will be playing at the Adelaide Grand Final this year, and it's like, terrific. A lot of people might turn up to wherever they have the
that'll be Adelaide Oval, won't it?
Or wherever they have the SANFL Grand Final, and be very disappointed when Guns N' Roses don't turn up. As distinct from everybody who goes to the Formula, to the Supercars, who will be disappointed when Guns N' Roses turn up. But hopefully they've got a special souped up walking frame for Axel to come on in. So
he might need it actually. Yeah.
Borrow yours.
Yeah, well, that's it. Mine's not souped up. Okay, guys, I'll catch you later, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.